Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAD Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Iranian protesters clash with police for a second night. Belgium arrests two charged with preparing attack in France. And moving on to our details, starting with Tehran. Iranian state media say protesters have clashed with police over water scarcity in the southwest for a second night. IRNA news agency said protesters threw stones amid debris at police and set a car on fire in a protest that began late Sunday in the city of Abadan. It also said police blocked roads near the protest and that the situation is under control. From another aspect, similar clashes over water scarcity broke out in the nearby city of Khorram Shahr late Saturday, in which, according to authorities, one protester and 10 police were injured. On the other side of the world, authorities have arrested the Belgian married couple of Iranian heritage and charged them with preparing an extremist attack in France against the Iranian opposition there. The Federal Prosecutor's Office said on Monday that the two, both in their 30s, are suspected of planning a bomb attack on Saturday against an Iranian opposition group, the People's Mujahideen, in the French town of Villepinte. The office also said the couple was detained while in their car, which contained about half a kilogram of TATP explosives and a detonator. Prosecutors said a suspected accomplice was detained in France, and an Iranian diplomat in Vienna was also detained in Germany. In Mexico, Mexican voters delivered a tidal wave presidential election victory to leftist Andrés Manuel López Obrador, giving him a broad mandate to upend the political establishment and govern for the poor. An official quick count from electoral authorities late Sunday forecast that López Obrador would win with between 53% and 53.8% of the votes. Early Monday, with about 40% of the votes counted, López Obrador's advantage was close to the quick count's statistical sample. It's worth mentioning that López Obrador called for reconciliation after a polarizing campaign and promised profound change, but with respect for the law and constitutional order. On to Poland, the European Union opened the rule of law procedure on Monday against Poland over what it sees as flaws in Poland's Supreme Court law. The move comes a day before a new law takes effect that forces the early retirement of nearly 40% of the court's judges. The European Commission said on Monday the measures in Poland's new court law undermine the principle of judiciary independence. It also insisted that it stands ready to continue the rule of law dialogue despite starting the legal procedure. On another side, a Philippine provincial city mayor was shot and killed by a sniper on Monday in a brazen attack during a flag-raising ceremony in front of hundreds of horrified employees and village leaders. The apparent lone gunshot felled Mayor Antonio Halili of Tanawan City in Batangas province, south of Manila, as he and about 300 employees and newly elected village leaders sang the national anthem in a parking lot outside the city hall. But police said the gunman escaped. Police also said the bullet hit his cell phone in Halili's coat pocket, then pierced his chest. Moreover, policemen scoured the hill, but failed to find the gunman. And going to our economic news, the European Union is slamming the Trump administration for considering tariffs on auto imports, saying they could lead to global retaliation against some $300 billion in U.S. goods. European Commission spokesman Margrethe Skinas said on Monday the U.S. investigation into the possibility of auto tariffs lacks legitimacy, factual basis, and violates international trade rules, just like last month's U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminium imports. The EU sent comments to the U.S. on whether auto imports pose enough of a threat to U.S. national security to justify tariffs and estimating the economic impact. And finally, global stocks fell on Monday due to worries over the potential impact of higher tariffs due to be imposed by China and the US in a trade dispute. Germany's DAX was down 0.8% to 12,212, and France CAC 40 lost 1.2% to 5,258. Britain's FTSE 100 shed 1% to 7,562. Wall Street was poised to open lower, though futures fell 0.5% and S&P 500 futures were down 0.6%. In Asia, Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 index plunged 2.2% to 21,811.93, and the Shanghai Composite Index tumbled 2.5% to 775.56. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Iranian protesters clash with police for a second night. Belgium arrests 2 charged with preparing attack in France. And we reach the end of our Misa bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.